Okay, so what we're going to do today is we are going to build a biological system. And the first step in the biological system, let's just get rid of all this and pretend it doesn't exist. Um, Never mind. Let's just do file new. Okay, so the first step in the biological system is that we want to have a certain number of apples appear on the screen. So we're going to get rid of this sprite entirely. So I'm going to double click on him using two fingers on the mouse pad, and I'm going to delete this person. And I'm going to make a new sprite, and it's going to be the apple. First thing I want is I want the apples to be quite small, so I'm going to change the size from 100% to 30% so that the apples are teeny weeny. And I'm going to make two variables that I'm going to use to make apples, which is the first variable I'm going to make is total apple count, and it's for all sprites. And then the next variable I'm going to make is max number apples, which is how many apples I want to have. Max number apples. Oops, two P's. And this is also for all sprites. So I'm going to go ahead and when I start my program, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to set the total number of apples created to 0, because I know that I haven't created any yet. And I'm going to set the max number of apples to 50. So I want 50 apples to be created, and I'm going to set the total apple count to 0. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to hide, because remember, this is my parent, and I don't want the parent here. I just want cloned apples. So I'm always going to hide the parent. So I'm going to go to looks, and I'm going to hide the parent. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, okay, I want to make apples. I'm going to put something in a forever loop. And I'm going to say, if I don't have 50 apples, keep making more. So if apple count is less than total number of apples requested, so I'm going to use my variables, and I'm going to say if the apples, let's see, total apple count is less than max number apples that I want, then go ahead and create a clone of myself. And when I start as a clone, I'm going to make sure I show up. Well, because watch what happens right now. If I hit this, it looks like nothing's happening. It is making clones, but the problem is that all of the clones, when they're born, contain all of the elements of the parent. So since all of them are hidden, or since the parent is hidden, all of the clones are going to be hidden too. So the first thing I need to do is I need to say show. So I'm going to go to looks and say show. And I'm going to go to motion and say go to a random position. Now let's see what happens. Whoa, it looks like a lot more than 50 are being created. But I notice that this number isn't changing at all. So the total apple count is still saying it's 0. Oh, and that's why I'm making more than 50 of them, because I forgot to count how many apples are being created. So not only do I have to create a clone of myself, but I have to change the apple count by 1. So when I start as a clone, I should probably increase my apple count by 1. So I'm going to go to variables again and change apple count by 1. So total apple count by 1 when I start as a clone. So let's see if we can get 50 of them here. And we get exactly 50. Now the reason to put the variables up at the top and to always use variables is that as we work with this system, we're going to want to do some experimentation. What would it be like if there were fewer apples? Well, I can set the max number of apples to 10, and I can quickly change how many apples are created by my system. And so that's how I'm going to do my experiments. So having these variables here allows us to change things very quickly. I think that's it. Oh, the only thing I want to do is I want to hide these two. I really don't need them. So I'm going to go to the apple. I'm on the apple, and I'm going to click on these two things, and they're hidden. And again, I'm always going to make 10 random apples. Making sure I save my work. Biosystem. By the way, you can only save your work if you're logged in, and I am logged in.